This is Radio Freedom. Hello, good day, guten tag and shalom. I am your host Nada and this is Smoking Truth TV. Unfortunately, there has been some slight changes to today's show as my old laptop decided to say no. Let me just explain that to you before we get into today's episode. I opened up the folder last week where I keep all my show notes and was greeted with a long blank page of nothing. To say I was a bit miffed was an understatement. 4 weeks of unrecorded researched information all vanished within a blink of an eye, along with all my other show notes from the beginning of my YouTube journey. I had written enough material to be able to make 2 more videos to go alongside episode 21 that was entitled Is It All Man-Made? It would have made a great trilogy, but I'm afraid we're going to have to wait for them now, as I have a feeling it's going to take a while to piece it all back together, so my apologies for that, but I guess that's what you get for trusting modern day technology. I can, however, strangely enough, still open the folder to my old diaries and the first book I wrote, but it wouldn't have been such a big deal if these did get wiped, as I'd already printed them off on good old fashioned ink and paper, and if I'm completely honest with you, these books need to be reworked anyway. I also want to apologise in advance if this episode comes across a bit messy. It wasn't what I had planned to do, but it does give me a chance to investigate a bit deeper into some topics that I'm still looking into, so who knows where this adventure will take us today. I guess one good thing that came out of this technology failure is I am now using my new laptop, but starting this all off again from scratch is a bit of a blow, but I guess you have to take the good along with the bad sometimes. Anyway, now we have all that out of the way, let's begin with today's show that I entitled Technology Sucks. In the technological world we find ourselves living in today, we are told to trust the technology, but to be honest, there's nothing quite like having a pen and notepad by your side. I don't know about you, but I also think it's a good idea to be equipped with some maps and maybe a compass. Don't worry, I'm not going all prepper talk on you. Why would I when I don't prep myself? Ah, shock, horror, you mean to say Nada doesn't prep? Let's just say I live my life day by day, always have and most probably always will. I look at it as walking the earth or just passing through this realm. Anyway, let's get back on track. If you're travelling a long distance or a unknown to you destination in a car, most people today use a sat-nav, or otherwise known as GPS, aka ground penetrating sonar. Just take a look at the military system called LORAN. Anyway, let's keep moving before I get sidetracked. Although GPS or sat-navs are helpful, and I myself have used them, how many times have you also experienced trouble with them? The same could be said for a mobile phone. When you go out of the range of the phone towers or GPS towers, you will always be fighting for some kind of signal, whether it be for the internet or that text message you've been trying to send. And if you live in a rural area and still have a TV, how many times have you experienced losing signal? But that's okay, no need to worry about these small problems, especially as Elon Musk wants to fit a microchip into your brain, taking control of your central nervous system. It does make me wonder, if these microchips have a receiver and operate on a signal like the GPS towers, then what happens to the human who walks outside of the perimeter that's putting out the signal for these chips to operate? The prison scene from 1987 Running Man comes to mind, or maybe we will see something like we saw in The Kingsman. Man, if you think the last 7 years has been bad, then you're very much mistaken. With all what's happened from Event 201, the scam, the Queen dying, the fake space shows, to man-made UFOs and fake aliens, the BS we're told about these so-called wars, to mass immigration and the continuation of our skies being sprayed on a daily basis, it would seem as though the last 7 years was a teddy bear's picnic to compare to the years coming ahead. And if the 1L gets his way, sorry, I mean Elon, then welcome to the zombie apocalypse. For real. Are you beginning to see why I say technology sucks? Whoa, hold on there, Nada. This video was meant to be me just chatting and having a bit of a moan about losing my work. But as some of you already know, I'm known for going off on a tangent, ranting about this, that or the other, so let me explain a bit more about why I think technology sucks. In short, you are energy. Another way to describe it would be, we are a divine light of infinite energy that we humans can't detect with our fleshly eyes, due to the small amount of light spectrum that our eyes can detect. And because we are energy, living inside a fleshly body, this is why our bodies get tired. This can also happen on a physical level as well as a mental level, as in your mind. I mean, after all, this is where the main source of your energy comes from. And from every action we make with our flesh, it is a direct command that comes from the mind, hence the phrase mind and body. So the more we concentrate on technology, the more technology is sucking your life energy. We could also say, by trusting technology, we also lose skills. Skills that are crucial to a natural human, and these skills are also tied to critical thinking. You see, the more we trust technology or artificial intelligence, you are no longer a human learning, but instead you are now being programmed into becoming mankind, as in a kinder man, an imager man. Some people call this zombification. I've even heard it being referred to as becoming a cyborg or a robot. If continued down this path, humans will slowly start to be transformed into what's known as a non-player character, in short, NPCs, and instead of critically thinking for yourselves, you are now walking amongst the rest of the sheep following the commands from the AI, until you have become what's known as a transhuman, and without your knowledge, you are now part of the hive mind being fully controlled by the AI. So yeah, technology sucks. But what sucks even more is, if you decide to dig a little deeper, you get to find out that there are two kinds of AIs. We have man-made AI, the Elon Musk kind, and we also have a spiritual AI that controls mankind. This same AI tries to overtake us humans, converting us into transhumans, but on a spiritual level. This AI drains your mind, body and soul. It lures our soul into a trapped system that is governed by the 7 luminary bodies. These bodies can also be called the 7 deadly sins, known as lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy and pride. These same governing bodies try to tempt you on a daily basis as they whirl around the circuit above the Earth, as they spiral round the centre of Polaris. I've also heard some people say that Polaris is the main source of the spiritual AI, and it transmits its will to the 7 luminary bodies, and being part of that system, it can paralyse your thoughts and actions to do the will of the Polaris. Paralyse, Polaris, sound similar, don't they? I find this explanation intriguing, and if this is correct, it also sheds some light on how mankind has exploited this same concept here in the more denser simulation that we call the physical. Now I know you're going to get tired of me saying this, but all this seems to come down to the same principle I've mentioned many times before, being energy, sound, frequency and vibration. The same thing Nikola Tesla talked about when he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in the terms of energy, frequency and vibration. Actually, let me read this statement off again. Alpha waves in the human brain are between 6 and 8 Hz. The wave frequency of the human cavity resonates between 6 and 8 Hz. All biological systems operate in the same frequency range. The human brain's alpha waves function in this range, and the electrical resonance of the Earth is between 6 and 8 Hz. Thus, our entire biological system, the brain and Earth itself, works on the same frequencies. If we can control the resonance system electronically, we can directly control the entire mental system of mankind. And as I've shown before, they have already achieved that with radios, TVs, phones and laptops, and the user is unaware. I don't mean to sound like some kind of new ager here, but I do find myself pondering over another theory, and I say theory because I haven't fully gotten to the bottom of it yet. But could the same 7 luminary bodies that we just talked about actually be linked to the 7 chakras we humans have in our bodies? As we can see here, when we look at a picture of the 7 chakras, they are all aligned like this, just like the 7 luminaries in the solar TRAPPIST system. Let's just quickly run through the chakra system for those who are unfamiliar with them. The root chakra is energy, stability, comfort and safety, also known as the I Am chakra. The sacral chakra is sensuality, sexuality, pleasure and sociability. In short, this is called I Feel. Next we have what's called the solar plexus chakra. This represents strength, personality, power and determination, also known as the I Do chakra. The heart chakra represents acceptance, love, compassion and sincerity, also known as the I Love chakra. The throat chakra speaks for itself, as in communications, expression, creativity and inspiration. This one's known as I Talk. The third eye chakra represents intuition, lucidity, meditation and trust, also known as the I See chakra. And the crown chakra represents knowledge, consciousness, fulfillment and spirituality, and in short, I understand. Just reading the meanings of these chakras brings us to a bit more understanding of who we are, as in I am, I feel, I do, I love, I talk, I see, I understand. Of course, there are other ways to describe these energies, but what grabbed my attention was the colours of these chakras. If we look at the colours of the luminaries in our sky, excluding the Earth, Sun and Moon, we can see the same colours of these chakras. Oh, I'm fully aware that these are just artist renditions, but when looking at these luminaries at night through your own eyes or even a camera or telescope, they do seem to give off flickering colours, hence the phrase twinkling stars. It's also said that the art of mastering these 7 chakras is when you have aligned them all. And just like I mentioned, when we have an alignment in our sky with the governing bodies that some people call planets, they kinda look the same. And if this is correct, then that also makes me think of the same principle as before, as in they're a part of your central nervous system. Remember what I was talking about earlier with Elon Musk's man-made AI technology that wants to take over your central nervous system? Well, it seems to me that if you were fitted with this man-made microchip, you would no longer be able to tap into your divine self or any of these chakras or luminaries. But what may really flip your lid is, could the real knowledge that we desire so much be easily accessible through meditation and being able to tap into what's known as the Akashic Records? Some say this is the knowledge of our ancestors, and this knowledge is stored in the ether like some kind of super spiritual computer. Again, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place with this one, but as you can probably tell, I'm still trying to figure all this out for myself. Now this next piece I nearly left out, but I couldn't let the video go out without touching on it, so here goes. It seems that a lot of Americans are freaking out at the moment with the approaching date of April 8, 2024, and for good reason. I mean, you tell me, doesn't it seem strange that on this date of April 8, 2024, we have an alignment happening in the sky along with an eclipse? This is the first time this event has taken place since the early 1800s, and on this day it also just so happens that CERN is being powered up, NASA is going to be firing sound rockets at the moon's shadow, and to top it all off, we have the Devil's Comet appearing in the sky at the same time. To me, it's beginning to look like the elites are playing off the same handbook as Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons. I mean, could they be trying to summon up a demon of some kind, or even open up a portal to another dimension? Again, that's up to you to try and figure out, but with everything I'm seeing, well, let's just say it doesn't look good, does it? One last thing I would like to touch on regarding the pole star Polaris is, could the word Polaris actually mean parallel? And if so, could this mean that it is the light that runs through the centre of the Earth, connecting the parallel universes together? Just like what we see here when looking at the Vedic cosmology. And could there be 7 parallel universes that we have to make it through before we get back to the base reality, aka heaven? But hey, don't just take my word for it, you need to do the research for yourselves and make up your own minds while you're still able to. Like I say in most of my videos, don't believe me or any man claiming they have the truth, especially mankind. In my experience, the only people who can give you the truth is yourself, and if you're passionate enough about finding the truth, it is out there for you to find. For me, I watch a lot of people online, and when I do, I'm always taking notes and always doing my own research. So to save you a bit of time sieving through the weeds, let me give a few shout outs to a couple of people to get you started. Brother Sanchez from Bro Sanchez TV has been on fire lately and has been putting out some awesome material regarding the artificial intelligence and the spiritual system. I can feel this man's energy when he talks, and his presentations are off the chart. I would also like to mention Jason Brashears from Archaics. He has been putting out some really interesting videos lately and has been doing a great job of exposing these so-called mainstream truthers. This guy also has written many books over the years, and one of them in particular that I'm interested in ordering called Awaken the Immortal Within. Both these gentlemen have a very different but a unique approach in explaining things, and even though these guys don't get along, the content they both put out speaks for itself. I also feel they are the best out there teaching these subjects. Of course, there are many other people out there talking about these subjects, and if you haven't already, you may want to check out the Joe Munro interviews. This British guy will blow you away with his intellect, but again, this kind of content is down to you to find. Anyway, this wasn't meant to be a particular long one today, so I think I'll stop here. Well, for now that is. It seems the more we learn about who we are and what this place is, the more questions we seem to have. But I'm sure if we keep digging and unveiling, we will get there in the end. I'm also sure that there are many of you out there that will think I'm crazy with what I have spoken about, and that's cool. I would think I'm crazy too if I heard this for the first time, but maybe if you were to pull your head out of the mainstream and start to search within yourselves, you might just see that it isn't that crazy after all. But hey, I'm just some dude on the internet, right? But if you did like any of the information I talked about here today, please hit the thumbs up button, and also don't forget to subscribe for future content. I will at some point create another channel, as I've been toying with the idea of maybe doing live streams in the future. You know, a kind of chat show where we can bounce ideas around with each other, but I still have to ask myself, am I really ready for something like that? Especially with the way people are today. Who knows? I guess I'll have to keep you posted on that one. So until next time, take care out there brothers and sisters, try and stay human, and I will speak to you all again soon for some more Smoking Truth TV.